Hey, what's good? What's good? We back. The one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett podcast. This is episode 153. We got a special guest that's going to be joining us. We got Shawn Mikes, artist from Massachusetts. So we're going to get into the sponsors real quick, and then we're going to get straight into the interview.
Me and my team, whenever we link up, they're gonna be drink up. We still gonna relax and have few glasses when there's things to think about. Like I'm nice with the boss when I tend to the bars and I'm not talking drink ups. So tell the bartender that's tending the bar to please pass me a big cup up. And tell that waitress is waiting on us to put a little ice in it. Now watch the ice become weightless like the spaceships that I be sitting in. No wait and listen, no they're waiting for that tropical twist that'll tickle your taste buds. Now taste some. Now I insist it's the Drizzle.
That's right. That's right. That was Chip Fu, legendary Fu Schnickens artist, doing the Dizzle brand commercial. Do you Dizzle? Yes, we Dizzle. Check them out, dizzlebrand.com. But we're going to get to it. We're going to bring in our guest, Shawn Mikes. What's good? What's good? Can you hear me, brother?
Bro, what's good? Yes, sir. I can hear you.
What's good? Yeah, I've been meaning to have more guests on this podcast, and you being a fellow hip-hop head, you know, I felt like it was only right.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate you having me on.
How'd you get started in the making music?
Shit. So I think like the first rap I ever wrote was in like the 4th grade. So like I got introduced to rap music through my older brother who's like 8 years older than me. So he kind of showed me all that good shit growing up. That's why like now when you listen to me rap, it might have some more old school influence than like the new school shit. You know what I mean? So I just would always be listening to rap, always, like every single day listening. And I was like, you know what? I want to try and do this shit, you know?
Now, did you always listen to hip hop music first? Like for me, I actually listened to like Michael Jackson, pop, and then rock and roll. And then I got into hip hop because of Heavy D. Was it always hip hop for you?
So pretty much like I got introduced to rap when I was in like kindergarten. So from my older brother being so much older than me. So before that, it was just like whatever my parents would be playing in the house, you know? Like some Bob Seger, you know, some Aerosmith, like classic rock, stuff like that.
Okay, that's the stuff I kind of, you know, started with. And I think I just kind of basically, I lived in Panama, got back from the States, and I just kind of went with what was popular. And then I heard Heavy D, and it was like a total change. Was there any particular artist that really got you there, or was it just a group of artists? Or
so yeah, I would have to say like the Aftermath era. That's what really got me on. That's what my brother showed me at first. So when you're getting introduced to like some of the greatest of all time, like in their prime at the time, you know, so like Dre, you got M, then 50 Cent, G Unit, all that shit, you know. Like when I was in kindergarten at that time, that's when they were all popping. Okay, kind of had the stranglehold on the game. So I got introduced to that, then I just kind of deep dove afterwards, you know, going back to all the classics.
Now, in your opinion, is Dr. Dre the greatest executive producer ever? In my opinion, he is.
I think so too. And he doesn't have like mad albums, but like all his albums, they're like sonically like beautiful. You know what I mean? And let alone like he has artists in literally like every single decade from the 80s.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean?
He definitely set a standard that there wasn't before, you know, because they didn't expect no hip hop artists to have that great quality of album, you know, and they expected from like a rock artist, a country, and the fact that it was a hip hop artist, it really raised the bar and set the standards for all genres going forward, I would say. Wouldn't you agree?
Sure. I agree. And like the artists that he would put on, like they were like staple artists, you know what I mean? From NWA to Snoop to M to Kendrick, you know what I mean? Like these are all like very well proclaimed artists, you know what I mean? Like,
and all of them had probably the biggest impacts of debuts ever, you know. Snoop, M, 50, Kendrick.
Yep, exactly.
So you being that's crazy. You're a Massachusetts guy, and it was really West Coast cats that kind of won your heart over with hip hop.
Yeah, but that's when I like first started listening to it. Then I got into all of it, you know, like the Nas, Hove, Rakim, like a whole, like it just the blend of everything, you know, because when I started listening to rap, it was like early 2000s. I'm only 26, so it was like the early 2000s. And by that time, there has been so much classic hip hop shit that has been dropped, you know. So I had a
Yeah.
lot to go back on.
How'd you come up with your name, Shawn Mikes?
So my name is Shawn, and my middle name is Michael. And like my whole life,
Oh,
my
okay.
my mom always called me Shawn Mikes, like
Okay.
Mikes. But then obviously had to add some that hip hop flavor to it. So just
So it's kind of like Titty Boy. Like his grandma gave him his name,
yeah,
and then
but
he
not
kind of
but not
changed it.
yeah, yep.
Um, without naming you yourself, because you know a lot of rappers always going to name themselves. Who would you say is the top artist or artist in the game right now?
Right now, shit, it's tough. It's tough. Kendrick just dropped a fucking phenomenal album. I
What was your
think
opinion on that?
I like the album a lot. He said a lot of shit. He dug into a lot of introspective stuff. That's the kind of rap that I like the self reflection, like being able to deep
Yeah.
dive into your own like subconscious type shit. You know, and I really like the album. And he's one of those. He's one of the only dudes that you can not see him for 5 years, then literally like not see him on social media and nothing, and come out and drop and still push like over 200,000 units. You know.
Now I've always said that Kendrick has benefited from not oversaturating himself like a Drake or a Cole. You know.
Yep.
Now back on this album though, do you feel like this? Some people were saying this album was like I don't know if you remember when Rick Ross left. He was on a label and he was trying to get the Epic, so he just pushes out this album real quick, like. And a lot of people are saying that this was him pushing out, the last TDE album to get, free from them and do his own thing. I don't strongly agree with that. I feel like the fans sometimes can they lose in that because I honestly don't really like this album because of the production. Because I'm always start with the production.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
if I can't really feel the beats, and Kendrick he's great lyrically.
Yep.
Nobody's denying that, but I've always been a strong component of production first.
I know, especially him being under Dre, you know, like
Did
it's
it? It
like
didn't sound like Dre had a lot to do with this album
no,
at all,
no,
did it?
that's what I'm
And do you
thinking.
think that could be a good thing or a bad thing? Because I think it could be a bad thing. Because Dr. Dre having hands on to any album is gonna make it, I would think, greater than it is.
Yeah, but I feel like at the same coin, if Dre's working on your album, it could delay it much more.
You're right. You're right.
You know,
You're
because
right.
like he's one of those perfectionist types.
You're
So
right.
it's
Now,
one of those like double-edged sword type deals.
what about Cole? Because I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yep.
My apartment's actually probably 2 minutes away from where J. Cole grew up.
Yep.
And it's really a mixed review here on Cole. You know what I'm saying? But I've actually put Cole above Kendrick now because of this last album. I feel like
I think I might be inclined to agree with you because Cole kind of stepped away from like being that like, oh, I make my own beats, no features, like none of that shit. Like he already
yeah,
did all like huge
yeah,
records doing that. And this one, like his last album was filled with bangers, I think, you
yeah,
know. And like you said, where you start with the production, like the beat production on that was fucking fire.
yeah. And like I said, we in Fayetteville we've had a mixed review, and I think a lot of that has to do with some people feel like he should do more for the city. Do you feel like all artists are obligated to give back to the city?
I mean, it's one of those things like how big was it for like where was the city to get him where he was? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's the
I'm
biggest
I'm
artist we've
not
ever had. So
no, I'm hip to that. I'm hip to that. But like how much push did they actually give him before he had to
well,
go to New York
that's the
and
thing. Cole moved out of North Carolina and went to Fayetteville. I mean, out of Fayetteville to New York, and he
yep,
blew up in New York. So we knew him as another name, which was the Therapist.
yep,
So we
yep.
knew him as the Therapist. That's what I knew him as. And then when he comes out as J. Cole, nobody had any idea who J. Cole was out of Fayetteville until cats that knew him from like albums previously, because he was on albums that were in the Source magazine back in the days when you had
Mhm.
unsigned hype and stuff. We started putting two to two together, like, oh, that's the Therapist.
Yeah,
But
yep.
nobody knew. Like, he
Okay.
literally had no fan base when he started, just like our other artists out of Fayetteville, Moray.
Mhm.
So I think it goes to show you that artists can still make it solely off of just putting out good music or great music.
Yeah, especially now, like with the whole like streaming shit, like you get put in
Yeah.
playlists, you're getting listened to in places that you've never even been before. You know what I mean? And it's more likely than it's gonna be more plays over there than where you are here. Because like over here, you're just seen as this like regular dude. Like these people know you as you. You know what I'm saying?
And what
And
part of Massachusetts you from again?
so I grew up in Weymouth, Massachusetts.
How far is that from Boston?
It's about 15 minutes away.
Oh, that's right there.
Yeah.
And what's the music scene like in Boston or around that area?
So there's always been wicked dope rappers, but it's like we're so close to New York that I feel like we're like caught in that shadow of New York because there's like a bunch of fire artists that do it independently. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people in New England in general because it's kind of
Yeah.
all grouped into one over here that make bread off this, make a living off of it independently. But there's only a few that really popped off. You know, like Millie's right now. He's like going off crazy.
I was checking his record the other day. It's kind of reminds me of a the Pop Smoke sound and
Yep,
whatnot.
yep. Then
Um
Joyner Lucas as
oh
well.
okay, I'm a big Joyner Lucas fan. I'm glad you brought him up.
So he's from Worcester. That's another city like a little out west in Massachusetts, but it's you know what I mean?
I think Joyner Lucas was a prime. I watched his journey. I think it was a prime example of if you just focus on the content
Yep.
and make sure all the content is just up to par, you're good to go. You know, if you look at all the top cats in the game, and we just said Kendrick, Cole, I mean, you could probably throw in Drake, Kanye,
Yep.
Big Sean. They all are like not the most gangsterous rapper, drug dealer rapper, shoot 'em up, bang, bang. I think real substance is always still going to be like at the very top, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
There just might not be a large portion of it.
Yep.
Um
What's cool actually is like that mixtape that Joyner really blew up on, that Along Came Joyner shit. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was produced by this producer from Weymouth that has been around forever, like from my city. You know what I mean? They linked up
Yeah.
and kind of fucking blew up.
I think Jordan Lucas is the greatest concept rapper I've ever seen in my entire
Bro,
life.
his videos, like I swear he just like writes these songs and has the video already in mind. So
Yeah,
just
scripted. He
follows
scripts
it.
out he scripts it
It's
out and then he
fire.
writes the song around it. It reminds me of Nas Rewind.
Yeah, yep.
Every time, and he did that song backwards where he rapped backwards
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
rhymed
yep,
like it.
yeah, and it
And even
like rhymed the whole way, both
yeah,
ways. Crazy.
but even a cat like Joyner, as much as I love him, he's losing my attention. And do we blame the fan or the artist when that happens?
I mean, it could be a little bit of both. I feel like fans are spoiled these days. They expect an album every
We
6
expect.
months.
I'm expecting a will every time, right?
Yeah,
A
yeah.
will
So like,
record. Yeah, yeah.
so a new record like every 6 months, and honestly, like for you to sustain like that dope shit, like it's gonna take a little longer than that.
It is hard to probably do another will, right? Like it's one of the greatest
Yeah,
concept records I've ever seen.
yeah.
You
That
know?
was crazy. That video was stupid too.
Now let me ask you this: you come from the appreciation of the '90s gold, as they call it, the golden era.
Yep, yep.
And I've dealt with a lot of old school rappers. I've booked shows for Flip Mode, Sick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Houdini. Do you think old schoolers have their bitterness towards the new school? Do you think that's valid and fair at all?
I feel like once again it goes both ways because like I feel like before, like in their era, they gave props to all the people before them. Now they're just like, nah, fuck Tupac. He's boring. You know
Is
what I
that
mean?
the
Like,
main issue you think they have? Is that they not getting nobody's recognizing them before? But I also like when you go into this component of F you little new rapper, you know, you
yeah,
ain't showing
yeah,
no love to the like
yeah.
how are you supposed to win them over, you know?
Yeah, nah, I feel the same way because I feel like I used to view myself that way. Just like, oh, fuck these corny rappers, you know what I mean? But it's just like, bro, at the end of the day, these are all young people just trying to get out of whatever situation they are, make bread from making music. If you can do that, salute to you. You know,
But wasn't some of the cats in the '90s when you go back and listen to them? Wasn't some of those cats really corny too, if not cornier?
they could have been. They could have been, you know.
Like, cause I go back and listen to some albums, and you know, I feel like we might have been a prisoner of the moment of the majority of those albums. You know, cause me
Yeah.
personally, my number one album of all time is Mobb Deep Infamous.
Oh, that
That's
classic.
my standard.
Yep, yep.
Because my standard of an album is how many times do I skip a song? Like the more
Yep.
you skip and the more you skip, the less I say it's a classic or
Yep.
it's great or it's just good or it's just average.
Yep.
You know,
Completely agree.
do you think hip hop is straying down the wrong path nowadays?
I mean, I'm not one to judge. I feel like you can. There's so much different hip hop like everywhere that if like you don't appreciate what this path is doing, you can find 100 other artists doing it this way. You know what I mean? They might not be the most popping people, but there's a lot of ill people out there that some
But
people
like
know, some people don't. You know?
I know Dre and them said it's nothing but music, but sometimes like it's glorified in a sense where like Chicago gangster rappers, for example, it's like we glorify it a little too much, don't we? That like the consequences are just there. I mean, if I've looked this up on Wikipedia, if you look at like hip hop murders, the first one was Scott LaRock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from that was like way back in the days, like the 80s. You look from like 80 something to 2000, it was like maybe 5-10 total. You had Pac and Big just like that.
Yep.
But it got to 2000 where it's like every year
Mm-hmm.
rappers are just getting killed over
Yep.
and over, man. And I just have to really blame this glorification of being a gangster, man. I mean, it's one thing to be infatuated with a gangster movie, but do we got to go and glorify it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I
And
feel you. I feel like a lot of those people though, like making those records, they're just rapping about what they come from, you know?
do you think they're all rapping where they come from, or they're just rapping? Some of them might be just rapping because it's the
Yeah,
cool
I
thing to
mean,
do.
I'm sure that's the case, but
I mean, because we do know that not all rappers have been
yeah,
the
yeah,
most
yeah,
authentic. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. There'd be a lot of dead bodies if everybody was rapping like that, was like that, you know?
So, what do you want? What would you like people to know about Shawn Mikes that we don't really know? What's
Shit. Well, I launched my own label last year. I got
okay?
two other artists signed under me, Easty and my boy CXP. We just been grinding out. Like
What's that like? Because it's not. Man, as a promo guy. See, I started as an artist,
yep,
and then I got into celebrity bookings, and I got into radio, and I got in these things to benefit myself as an artist.
yep,
But then I got into management because somebody asked me to manage them,
yep.
and things went well at first, but it's like one of the most difficult things to do is deal with another artist. I realized. How have you learned how to navigate through that?
Well, the good thing is like they were my homies before. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Especially Easty. Like me and him go back like a long time. Like he put me on some shit when I was younger, like coming up in Weymouth. He's a little older than me, but like I feel the biggest thing is just trying to manage egos. At the same time, you
Egos.
gotta like some person might feel some way, and you just gotta know that they're coming from a certain direction, and you might be coming from a different direction, but you can't just like put your ego in front of it and just be like, nah, this is my shit. I want to do it this way. You got to throw all that shit out the window, because it's no longer like if I criticize myself or like some song that I do that I don't like, I'm just like, whatever, I'm not going to put it out. But if they're feeling a certain way about the joint and maybe I'm just not saying that this has happened, but I'm just saying like,
Now, repeat that again. What you just said about you criticizing the song. I want to feed on that real quick.
so like for me, like if I
You
criticize
said
my,
you'll criticize their song, right?
well, that really hasn't came to the point. But what I'm saying is, like, if I were to criticize my shit, I would just throw the song out the window if I didn't like it. But for them, like, I got to take them into accountability, how they feel about the joint, like how they think this is gonna move.
Now, don't because the reason I want to feed off of that, I think that's a problem with hip hop nowadays. Is we got so many artists got these just too many homeboys around them that always, as soon as they make a song, they automatically, yo, it's a hit, it's a hit, it's a hit. It's no real, like I had a homeboy back in the days that would be like, look, man, I'm gonna tell you the nicest way possible, man. You be killing, murdering the beat, you be micro machining it, but every beat ain't meant to be micro machine. I
Yep.
think musicians like definitely don't never want to hear criticism, and I think that's a big
No,
problem.
it's because Yeah, it's just one of those things, man, that like you create like this picture, you know what I mean, or create this song, whatever. Like the last thing you want is someone to be like, nah, that ain't it, you know, because you put what like however much of you
Yeah.
into that, then it's kind of extension to you at that point, and just be like, nah, that's not it. It's tough, but it's
But
one of
see,
those
that's
things
the
that you got to deal with, though.
yeah, because in a single game, when you're really saying nah, that's not it. You're really saying this ain't the single or this ain't the hit.
Yeah, it's not
It
that it's a
doesn't
bad song or
necessarily mean
nothing.
it's not a good album cut.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
I think that's what people fail to realize when people are like, nah, that's not the one. No, we're not necessarily saying it ain't a good record to still put out,
yep,
but
yep.
it's not the album cut. Now, do you think I'm a strong component with the biggest problem with artists trying to make it in the business is they don't know the second part of the business. There's making music and
Yeah,
breaking music.
then the business, you know.
And the breaking music part, what confuses me is it's like this is our first time having a conversation, right?
Yep, yep.
If me and you get together and start a pizza joint, you best believe one of us gonna know how to make pizzas,
Yeah, yep, yep,
and the other's gonna be taking the orders. You know what I'm
yep,
saying?
yep.
And I feel like too many artists are like guys starting a pizza joint and don't know how to make a pizza. Like making music's that's just the easiest, simplest step of it. And I
Yeah,
feel like this
absolutely.
this this whole other part
Absolutely.
of it is just like they don't know it and or they choose not to know it or they think it's not a business. What do you think that is? I mean, you think we need like college courses on this or something?
Shit, I that would be great. Well,
I
I
mean,
think like most because artists are artists, you know, all they want to
yeah,
do is create. Like
all they
that's
want
how
to do is create.
they got into this just to create. Then like maybe they start building a buzz and realize like, hey, I could actually do something with this. But like they still just want to create and create only, and that's going to be detrimental to anyone, you know.
Yeah. And I also think one thing that's always held hip hop back is if you look at rock groups, rock bands, we could put a rock band together and just have them do cover music and put them on tour.
Yep.
Hip hop is always frowned on cover music and
Yeah.
performing cover music, and it's the only genre taken literally. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure, man. I think because like biting was like a huge thing back in the day. Like, yo, you bit my shit. This is my shit. Like it rocked. Like they like would cover their favorite songs. Like they can add their own twist to it. I guess when like your instrument is your voice, like it's easier to pass off as it's yours than it's like this is like this song and I'm adding my turn to it. You know.
But was it when the vocabulary was real low in the 80s? Weren't they all pretty much biting?
I don't know, man. I
I mean,
wasn't
because it
around in the
was
'80s.
really like it was really limited in the 80s when you compare it to like the 90s, and
Oh
then dudes
yeah.
started using all types of big words in the
Yep.
90s and stuff,
Yep.
the Karis ones, the Public Enemies and
Yep.
stuff. Who do you think's been like the most impactful groups or artists ever in hip hop to you?
Ooh, to me personally, or
Public
like,
is yeah, just personally or just that you've seen, like just watching history that like Public Enemy to me has always been one of the biggest impacts ever
yep, yep,
because they changed like anybody who I think made I know this is another one. This might sound crazy. I think Crisscrosses was one of the biggest impact groups in hip hop history because I know when I was in high school, they literally brought in sagging pants.
yeah, yep, yep,
It literally everybody was sagging pants. Then like Public Enemy had everybody wearing the African beads and
yep,
chains.
yep, yep,
You know, I felt like anybody that had that chain that made everybody just dress a certain way or act a
yep,
certain way, or like Schoolboy Q when he comes out with that part.
yep, yep,
I didn't
yep.
understand it at first, you know, when they came out with it. I just
And
loved Schoolboy Q, and everybody's like that part, that part. What
yep,
part?
yep. And same with the buckets, bro. Like the bucket hats. I feel like he was rocking those early, then kind of everyone caught on to that.
Who you
But
said Schoolboy Q?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
never really caught on to that. I've
Yeah.
always
Well,
I was
at least where I live, like I know it's different
yeah,
everywhere. But so for me, I think Hove maybe like
Hove.
he
Okay.
got everyone to stop wearing jerseys, bro. Fucking get a crisp pair of pants, homie, button up, like dissing Joe Budden at the same time. But he tried to he put an end to like the jerseys, you know what I mean? He
Yeah.
tried to put the end to auto tune, but that obviously didn't work. But
That didn't work. I said that too. I said the same thing. He didn't do a damn good job of that
yeah,
at
yeah.
all. White rapper. Does a cat like Eminem make it easier, or do you think he makes it harder?
I mean, that's the thing, like, because there is a lot of white rappers. You know what I mean?
A lot more than when I first come up. A lot more.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. But I feel like Eminem being dope was easier to come out after Eminem than it were to come out after like a Vanilla Ice type deal. You know what I mean? Because it gives you like that glimpse of hope. It's like, oh, this dude actually might be nice though. Because like if you look at like around the time with Vanilla Ice, they're like, ah, nah, this guy's the vulture type shit. You know?
Yeah, well, he was riding that MC Hammer wave too around that,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
you know.
yeah. It was like the Elvis of fucking rap at that time.
Yeah. What's your take on a cat like Everlast?
Everlast, I like Everlast. I like how we kind of branched out to more than just rap. You know what I
I
mean?
did too. I did too.
Because I like growing up right outside of Boston. Like I'm a huge Slane fan. Like he's big around here, but he's in that group La Coca Nostra with Everlast. So like I got like acclimated with that type
Yeah.
shit where like it was like after the Whitey Ford stuff, but then like this group is like a super hardcore like underground rap group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely look like you could be part of nonfiction and Ill Bill crew. And I'm definitely big on Ill Bill, whatnot. You know,
Yep,
when they
yep,
came up with their album, I thought it was totally huge.
yep.
Um, so basically, your goal is to you want to make it as a solo artist. You try to help your two other artists. Now, as your two other artists, are you doing all the marketing promotions for them too?
Yeah, yeah, and obviously they're helping out on their end too. It's not
Okay.
just a one-sided deal. But yeah, I got this studio back in January. Like I like my whole album that I just released, The Little Things. I recorded all that in my room, like in my bedroom.
Uh,
But I just got this space, so now it's on. Like we can all just link up in here 24/7 and just like get to recording, you know.
and what kind of influence do like rappers like Guru or Big Shug have over like Boston area?
So I love Gangstar. That's
I
my
do
shit.
too. I love Gangstar.
Like Premier is probably one of my favorite
Yeah.
producers of all time. I just got that East Coast bias type thing. But
Yeah.
but I'm not sure. Like I feel like a lot of people don't even know that Guru was from here because he always rep
Because
New
he
York.
always claimed New York mainly, right?
Yep, yep,
And what about cat like Big Shug? Because I know he was in that Black Mass movie with Whitey
yep,
about Whitey Bulger.
yep. So he's always around. Like you'll be able to like see him around the city, which is dope. You know, like he's
Okay.
like a accessible type of dude.
And y'all had Ed OG. Is he still be around the way at all?
Oh yeah.
Ed
Yeah.
OG.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
And what about? Okay, I want to get into a little sports real quick.
Of course.
Celtics.
Oh, let's go.
I I got Celtics in like 5 or 6, man. After last night's game,
Honestly, after these last series, man, I think it could go 7. Who knows? You know, just
I'm a strong component. The Warriors are in danger because this is my take. I'm comparing the two best Celtics versus the two best Warriors.
yep,
So I'll take Tatum and Brown, and I'm looking at they're two-way players,
yep, yeah,
and they could both put up
absolutely,
25 or 30 on a night.
yep,
Well, when I go to Golden State, you got Steph and Clay.
yep,
They're not two-way players. Not
yeah,
and Clay's not. He tries, but that injury, 2 injuries,
yep,
so they're not two-way. And I'm of a component. Clay's not a 25 every night guy no more.
yep.
So I just think like
Yeah, then
Boston,
I
they
gotta
got
say,
experience, they got depth, they got
yeah, the
youth,
depth, the
they
the
got two-way players,
yep, the
way
depth
more
is
two-way players.
definitely true. Like Al Horford, like has been stepping it up. They keep calling him the old man every time I
Yeah.
watch the game, but like, dude's like dropping almost 30. You know what I mean? Like,
Now, is
and
all of Massachusetts pretty much Celtics fans?
yeah, pretty much. I
And
would say.
y'all pretty much gonna go crazy and nuts if y'all win this, right?
Yeah, man, it's been a long time. 2008, that was the last one.
Yeah, because it's really just y'all and the Lakers, right? It's y'all competing with the Lakers, when you say,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
So, and you've always been a Celtics fan?
Yeah. I mean, I came up at like the perfect time in like New England and Boston sports. You know, Tom Brady came in 2001 and started winning Super Bowls. Then the Red Sox, they ended up beating the Curse of the Great Bambino type shit. You know,
Can we agree that Boston is probably highly overlooked and doesn't get enough respect? Like
yeah, I could say that. Because there are some like dope
y'all
people out
had
here.
y'all's major artists,
Yeah, Yep.
Y'all had all y'all sports teams have been highly successful.
And I noticed, bro, like all the people that come and tour here, like the
Yeah.
market is huge. Now, I don't know if it's like that East Coast mentality type thing where it's just like, oh, he's from here, like I'm from here, I could do that shit type thing. So I don't know. All
How
I've
many
ever known is
Boston
living here.
made movies y'all have? The
Yeah,
Town.
yeah,
Y'all have all these Boston made movies.
yeah.
And one thing I realized, it's like it's like the one accent in America that actors are like, it's the top notch accent to try to do, man.
Oh
This
man,
Boston accent.
listening to that shit is so brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
You ever see the show Ray Donovan
Um,
on
little bit.
Showtime? Yo,
Little bit.
his wife absolutely butchers that accent for about fucking 8 seasons. And it like literally killed me every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all got a lot going. I mean, y'all got a lot going on, man. A lot going on. How old are you two?
I am 26.
You're 26.
Yes, sir.
What do you see? Because I grew up in the 90s era. What is it that leads these newer cats to appreciate this 90 era more when there's not so much of those artists on the mainstream spectrum? They're just not easy to find all the time, man.
Yeah, so for me, like it's because I had a brother that grew up in the 90s. You know what I mean?
It's
So
just totally your brother. Just
yeah, then that's just like
totally.
the groove that I fell into. Then I deep dove into that shit. Then like broke off into like the independent rap shit and just found like so many artists.
What about a cat like? I'm just interested. Like, what a cat? What do you think about a cat like Jack Harlow?
Jack, like he's pretty nice. I mean, that's not really the shit that I listen to all the
Yeah,
time. But like he's not like the worst rapper I've ever heard. He's
yeah,
not the
yeah.
best rapper. Like he's pretty good. But
He's better than most, though. You would say, right nowadays.
yeah, like on the mainstream level.
And how long you think this wave is gonna last? This.
I don't know. Like I feel like his first album was received pretty well. You
No, I
got to
mean,
see
like
what
the wave of this new sound, man. Like
I don't know. Like it's already transitioned so
it
much.
seems
Like
like
from,
it's went longer than usual, right?
but I feel like it like has variated because like in like 2000, like the 2010s, you had like the Chirac shit, which was like these style
Okay.
beats, but like it's different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then you got the drill shit. Now you have like the melodic type shit. So it's already changed so much within like the past 10 years. You know what I mean? So who knows where it's gonna go next?
And a lot of people think the '90s was more original, right? I I disagree. I'm more of a component. It's more original nowadays, but it's trashier because of the fact that the '90s had more samples. And do you
Yeah.
think the lack of samples is why the sound is like it is nowadays? Nobody wants to pay for samples no more.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the samples kind of bring that like soulful vibe. At least
Yeah, the
like that's what
soulful,
I think.
yeah.
So
Even just a good like vocal sample over a
yeah,
beat or something like
yeah, some
like
chopped up shit.
Dipset. The Dipset sound on
Yeah,
Rockefeller was a
yep,
great. I thought a
yep,
great time for hip hop and a great sound.
yep.
Do you think? I mean, do you think samples is really playing a part of this? Just this sound all sounds the same?
I don't know because at the same time, like we all make shit strictly on like keyboards and computers now. We're making beats.
Yeah,
Those
no,
could
no
be samples from like
MPCs and
beat
nothing.
packs and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So it's just like those like underground type of shit, I
So you
guess.
don't think it comes from a place of just greed of not wanting to pay for samples? It's just comes from a place of anybody can make beats now because of Fruity Loops and things of that nature.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, you can buy a beat pack and get all these loops and
Yeah,
shit.
these
You know what I
loops. Yeah,
mean? Then you can chop it up and make it
chop
your
it up.
own. It's
Yeah.
still like a form of sampling, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's the sound. You know what I mean? Like, it's the sound. Everyone was chopping samples back then because that was the sound. Now this new sound is progressed, and everyone wants the 808s and hi-hats and stuff like that.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer more sample based beats? I
Yeah, dude.
do. I do. Even though,
I love a good soul sample on that
yeah,
shit.
even though you always typically people say you can't distribute them because they got samples, but there's always a catch to that. Like
Yeah,
nobody, until the song is popping, nobody's knocking on your door for no sample clearances or sample fees.
yeah, because there's like a bunch of artists like who like tour around the US and the world and sell out like 3,000 cap venues and they got samples all over their shit. It's just because it's not played on the radio and hasn't hit like someone from that team in the 70s ears yet that this dude is making money off of it,
Yeah, cause I heard a story with what's my man's name? French Montana. That Incredible. You remember that song Incredible he had?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was his biggest hit up to that point, and it might still be. Well, he literally the song was already a song.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to the label and was like, "Look, I want to buy this song, and I want to clear this sample. It's $500,000 to clear it.
Yeah.
I'll pay half of it if you pay half." And the label's like, "What? Are you
On one song?
Are you shitting me? Nobody pays $500,000 to
Yeah.
clear one fucking song."
Yeah, yeah.
And he was just a strong component of, okay, I hear you, but this is a hit.
Yeah, this is the one.
This is the instant hit.
Yeah.
And what did he do with it? He bought the exclusive rights out of his pocket. He threw his little bullshit 8 bars over it, didn't say nothing.
Yep.
And it was the biggest record ever, man. I mean, like,
yeah, that was on like every
not
day.
willing to just take that risk where they say no biscuit or no risk it, no biscuit.
Yep, yep.
I mean, because I totally, as much as I don't respect, I'm not a big fan of his music. I just was like, wow, like, how can I not respect this cat?
Yeah.
Putting up $500,000 to clear a sample when nobody even wants to spend $5,000 to clear a sample.
Yeah, and people don't even want to spend fucking 99 cents to actually buy that song. You know what I mean? He just risked it all, so you're right.
What's your take on, this is something that reeks me. Artists that think they should never have to spend a single dollar on promoting their music whatsoever.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's going to take a 1 in a million chance,
I mean, isn't that like J. Cole thinking right there? I mean, I can't. J. Cole is the last artist that I remember that just got a record deal off of one song only, no fan base.
Yeah, I mean, he just was able to reach the right person.
The right person.
That's very hard to do. Not everyone can just like get access to Jay-Z type shit,
Yeah, and a lot of people. That's the great point you make up. A lot of people don't know how he got access to Jay-Z.
Yeah.
They don't know that Mark Pitts was his manager. Mark Pitts used to manage Tracy Lee and Biggie at one point, and then he was managing Miguel and J. Cole at the same time. So it's easy I always looked at it like, all right, who's the biggest Biggie Smalls dick rider on the planet? Let's think. Hove? Could it be Hove? I don't know. It might be Hove.
Yeah.
Could be Hove.
Yep.
Well, damn, if Biggie's manager is managing any artist right now, and Biggie, this is the biggest Biggie dick rider ever. Damn, if anybody should be able to get a conversation with Hove, it should be this guy.
Yeah.
And do you think every artist should be able to get on that way, or do you think different folks, different strokes?
I mean, it would be great if that's what it was, and no one had to spend bread. Like that'd be awesome if I didn't have to spend all my own money on all this shit. But it's just, I don't think that's the feasible outlet.
Now, even though J. Cole didn't have to spend bread, somebody had to spend bread, right?
Yeah, someone had to spend bread for J. Cole to get that studio time or whatever. Just like simple shit of getting like a graphic made.
Are you familiar with Murray?
I don't think so, no.
Murray has a song called Quicksand. And Murray's from Fayetteville, and he literally got put on during COVID. And he signed because he had an old song. Investors got behind him.
Mm-hmm.
The song's got over 100 million views on YouTube. They had Marshmello co-signing him.
Okay.
You're familiar with Marshmello, right?
Yep.
Marshmello is larger than life. So he had that co-sign like J. Cole did, and then they put like $250,000 worth of ads into this video. But now what the problem is during COVID, what was nobody doing during COVID?
Going to shows. Believe me, man.
And if you can't go to shows, how can you build fan base? Like these.
Yeah. And that's where you can make all your bread too, man. Yeah. Even like I'm local as fuck. Like I think my Spotify had like 800 monthly listeners. When I go to shows, man, I can make like a few $100s just like slanging t-shirts and merch and shit. That's all shit that you got to put money up for. So it's one of those things like you got to give it to get it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up too. The merch game. I mean, that's definitely a big component for the independent artist, right? It's like one of the components. It's probably what 33% of your income, right?
Yeah, probably more than that right now, but
Probably more than that. Definitely. And how many shirts would you say you sell on a regular or whatnot at a show?
so at a show, I mean, the big breadwinner for me, like we live in New England, so it gets cold. I got these hoodies
The
made.
hoodies. Yeah.
So if you ever go to Boston, there's this big Sitco sign, like the gas station right over by Fenway.
Yeah.
That's like a staple in the city. Like they were gonna knock it down, then it got listed as like a landmark in Boston. So I slapped that shit on the back with this right here on the front with Mass Made Media. That's the name of the label.
Yeah.
Then so those are the breadwinners for me because I got hooked up with this merch guy. So I sell it for like $40. You know what I mean? And if I sell like almost 10 of those at a show, I'm walking out with like a half a day's pay at work of my day job, you know?
Do you think more artists, you made me think about the Griselda, how Griselda got on. They got on through the merch. Do you think more
Yeah,
artists should try that kind of
100%.
approach of just
100%.
brand yourself with the merch first and then let the merch sell the music?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Especially coming out and you want to like actually like support yourself doing this.
Yeah.
Is the people love the physical stuff. They might not cop like the physical music,
Yeah.
but like if you got a dope t-shirt or a dope hat or a dope hoodie, people are and they mess with your performance like they thought you were dope. They're probably more than willing to spend a $20 bill to buy your shirt or your hat or something. You know what I mean?
That's what we do with the Dizzle brand. The commercial I showed you with the chip food, we
Yep, yep,
basically got the merch too to try to help sell the liquor as
yep,
well.
yep.
You got any new shows coming up soon?
Yeah, so I got a co-headline show with CXP, the cat from my label, June 24th in Quincy, Mass. It's at this Irish pub called the Crack. We're gonna get it cracking. It should be a good time. Should be a good time.
You want to plug in your Twitters or Facebooks or
Yeah.
Instagram or anything or
So
a
you
new single you got or
yep. You can follow me everywhere at Shawn Mikes, SHAWNMICS. You can find me on all the streaming services. I just put out a full length album in April called The Little Things. You can listen to that. There's 14 joints on there. Yeah.
okay. Have you
Oh,
messed with TikTok yet?
I try to, bro. I don't know.
I would recommend, man. I'm gonna tell you what, man. My my mentor and my guy that owns Dizzle, he put me on the TikTok at first, and anytime he says we got to figure something out, he really means me because I'm the computer. So he's like, yo,
Yep.
we got to figure out TikTok. We got to figure out TikTok.
Yep.
And I'm like, I was like, all right, I'll give it a chance. At first, I checked it out. I'm like, this is some kiddie shit.
Yep.
Then I had like 100 followers, right? I posted this post, and it was something I think dealing with like some spacecraft video showing like something looked like a UFO or whatnot.
Yep.
But I got 70,000 views in 24 hours with 100 followers.
Yep.
And that's when I started to realize TikTok is something else because I've been doing this since MySpace days. And
Yep.
one thing I realized about TikTok is it's the first platform that you can't bot every single aspect
Yes.
of the
Yes.
platform. You know what I'm saying? You could bot your Instagram followers, your comments, your likes, and that's been
Everything.
going on since MySpace, Twitter.
Yeah. Everything.
What do you
Everything.
think about that? Now, you think too many artists are caught up in the bot game? I know it ain't as bad as it used to be because it used to be real bad. Everybody used to hit me up like, I want to buy 1 million followers. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the issue with that, especially now with like the algorithms and shit,
Yeah.
like if you got a bunch of bots as majority of your followers and Instagram is trying to share your stuff to people like the people that follow you, you're just gonna get shared to more bots.
More bots, yeah.
That you're gonna pop up in the bots feed and it's not gonna benefit you whatsoever. It's not a real person that's gonna listen to your song or listen to whatever whatever brand you're trying to push. You know what I'm saying?
And how deep do you get into the algorithms?
Dude, it's hard. I feel like they change the shit all the time. Like it's hard because like say like on Instagram, like I'll run this ad for a video and it works great on this one video. Say I try and do it on the second one, it fucking falls flat in its face. So they want you to just keep spending money and trying to figure it out, I feel.
Now I know you're a busy man. We're gonna cut it off in like 4 or 5 minutes. Just want to ask one more question here.
Of course.
Um, playlisting. Do you think artists like I know how playlisting really works? Do you think too many artists are caught up in just this playlisting, this streaming royalties? Because there's a lot of artists that ain't making no money, period,
Yep.
whatsoever. So the streaming is all they're getting. So that's all they're caught up in.
Yep.
Do you think it's too much of a stranglehold on the music industry, the streaming royalties? Because I think it has. If
Yeah.
people
Well,
I knew about playlisting, I think it has.
yeah, like Spotify monopolized the shit, you know,
Yeah, they
like
monopolized it. If
they
you're not on
monopolized
their
it
playlist,
and they're
yeah,
fucking all the artists. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like they're
destroy all
giving you
the
a
artists, yeah.
fraction of a penny for every listen. Like I don't know how in what world that sounds all right to anyone, but yeah, I mean, I feel like you just like pitching to playlisting isn't like marketing for your album type shit, you know?
No,
Like
it's not. It's not because you
so
can't engage with that's the thing. You got to be somewhere where you can engage with these fans. They don't let you engage with fans. If you're an unsigned artist and they do add you a Spotify list, it'd be one of the smallest lists. They'll add you for maybe a week, and you'll get 20,000 plays out of it, and that's it.
yeah.
And the major label playlists, well, we know they're botted up like crazy,
Oh yeah,
and they're
absolutely.
not adding nobody on there that's
Yeah,
not signed
except for
to the major
it's
labels.
already popping anyway, so it's
Yeah.
just good to juice the numbers for Billboard and not really
So
fan
then you
engagement
get to
kind of
the
shit.
independent playlisters, and I would say that 90% of those are bots.
Yeah, yeah, especially the ones that guarantee you a certain number of streams. Like for $100, you will
Yeah,
get
like I never try
2,500.
to guarantee that. Like I'll do
No,
playlist pitching, and I'll add it to my playlist, pitch it.
yep,
I'll do some submissions, and I
yep,
might pay for a couple guarantee slots here and there, but I'm never guarantee a specific amount of plays because once you start doing that, that's when
that's
like,
like the red
it's
flag
totally
right there.
bogus. Yeah, it's totally the red flag because even if you're selling bots and you start throwing out these numbers, we know you just totally don't care about building fan base
No,
whatsoever.
no,
And like, because I've always been a strong component of the only thing you should ever, I would not have a problem with you botting is you start a YouTube channel, they want 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. Well, you could pay for that 1,000 subscribers. That'll get you that halfway monetized, but you still got to advertise to get that 4,000 watch hours. So I'm a
absolutely.
strong opponent. Go ahead. You could take the shortcut to get the 1,000 subscribers because by the time you get 4,000 watch hours, you
Yeah,
don't build a bunch of organic fans. And 4,000 watch hours
that's a lot.
that's a lot.
That's a
So you
lot.
done built some fan base, but that's the only time I'm like, I bought the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. After that, straight organic. But everything else is like we know it's bots all over the place,
Yeah,
man.
it's everywhere. It's crazy. It's
And
crazy.
I tried my hardest to tell people like YouTube, TikTok, YouTube, TikTok, YouTube, TikTok, and it's like, yeah, I want Spotify. Okay,
Yep,
well, you can't
yep.
put a gun to hunt somebody's head and make them listen sometimes, man.
Yep. Yeah, this year I started focusing more on the YouTube channel.
And I would
For
recommend
sure.
that.
For sure.
Focus on the YouTube as much as you can. It's the number one platform that artists are blowing themselves up on.
Yep.
TikTok is number 2. Instagram would be like
Yep.
number 3. Facebook.
Yep.
I would actually say SoundCloud over Spotify too, because some artists have broke
Yeah,
themselves
actually
on SoundCloud.
blown up from it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
I got a homie that I rap with, Honest and Clank. Like he's a nasty rhymer.
Yeah,
And he just like kind of got picked up by like these like lo-fi like boom bap rap listeners, bro. And he's got like
yeah.
millions of views on SoundCloud. You know what I mean? Like so
I
it's
got a bunch
crazy.
of those playlists to submit to boom bats, lo-fi's.
Yeah.
Because back in the days, we were accidentally doing lo-fi hip hop without intentionally doing. Because I think, oh boy, they said started at I did promotion for him. Damn, what was his name? Rock Marciano. I think
Yeah.
because I used to complain about, yo, man, your levels is too low, man. It's too low. They be like, no,
Yeah.
that's how he likes it.
Yeah.
I never understood this was an intentional thing that he was trying to do. We just accidentally did it back in the days because we didn't go to big recording studios and
Yep.
stuff like that,
Yep. Rock Marcy, independent king, by the way. Independent king for sure.
I want to thank you for coming in on the guest. You're more than welcome to come on any other time you want to. If you got like an album or press you want to get off.
For sure,
Anything you want to tell anybody before we go?
Yeah. If you feel like supporting an independent artist, you can head to my website at massmademedia.online. I got all my music for sale. I got videos. I got some merch for sale for sure. So you can hit me up there. You can follow me on all the socials that I listed earlier. And Paul, I appreciate you having me on here. It was nice to virtually meet you, my friend.
Definitely, and more than welcome. Come back on anytime, and definitely hit me up with an email when we get off of this.
All right, bet. Sounds good, bro.
All right, peace. Take it easy.
All right, you too, bro.
That was Shawn Mikes. We had a nice little hip hop discussion. I hope y'all like that. Definitely think we got in a lot of good topics right there. Let you understand more about the artist himself. Because see, most people, they just interview artists about their music and just things of that nature. But I'm a strong component that nowadays artists have to turn themselves into a reality TV show for the fans. You got to just show truly who you are, man. Just show your true colors. Just let the world know who you are. Don't hide nothing. Be comfortable in your own skin and who you are as an artist and whatnot. So definitely go check out Shawn Mikes. He said massmedia.com. We about to get off here. We about to plug in one more sponsor and call it an episode.
Are you a musician looking for music marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
Once again, thank you to my lovely spokesperson for Promo Palace LLC at promopalace.biz. You need online marketing promotions. Check us out. We do press releases, SEO, search engines, social media marketing, music video promotion, TikTok influencers, Instagram influencers, blog placements, and much, much more. Once again, I'll thank you all for tuning in. Episode 153 featuring Shawn Mikes from Massachusetts, hip hop artist. Peace, and I'm out.